you've been teaching and you've been choosing materials, you've been using many of them, and maybe you want to understand some of these materials a little better. So come with us. Let's discuss one more of these.
Let's go. All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Bruno Buquete. This is Walter Curti. We're here in ELT in Brazil to talk about Pearson's book, Speak Out. It's a material designed for adult learners. And today we have Unit 6, Lesson 8. Can we have it on the screen?
Sure. Here
Two Pablos. All right. Walter, in terms of layout, what do you think?
With the exercises that were organized, you have 1A, 2A, 3A, 3B. Then there's a clear separation between vocabulary, reading, and then if you go downwards, you have grammar, speaking, and everything is really, really well organized. I really like it. And I really like fonts, the colors and the pictures. I really like the layout of this material. And you, Bruno?
Agreed. Yeah, the headings are very clear, right? So vocabulary, reading. There are subheadings, right? So in vocabulary, it's the arts, and in grammar, used to. So it's very clear for the teacher and student what they're going to be learning. Everything is well numbered, easy to follow. ABC, yeah, looks nice.
Yep.
And I like the thing they did with the light blue for Pablo Picasso, and then you have his picture on top left, and then the text about him, and then a picture of his home, I think. One would think that Pablo Picasso lived in a better home than this one. Right?
Yeah, I think.
And then I think it would have been interesting to have used maybe two women artists. I think for a change, I think it would be nice. Maybe our next unit, we don't know, right?
Moving on into rationales, the methods in there. What can you tell us? What do you see?
I love the fact that they begin with vocabulary. That's usually where I would go. I think working on vocabulary first, as in the building blocks. I think it's Penyu who said that without grammar you communicate very little, and without vocabulary you cannot communicate at all. Right? So you start with the words, so words with big meanings, and then you move to reading. So this vocabulary section, it's a vocabulary lesson in itself, but it could kind of work as how can I say, as a sneaky pre-teaching to the reading that comes afterwards, right? So it's very well scaffolded. So let me teach you these words, and then you're gonna see these words in action in the text.
I see.
I like the way it's used.
Would you classify this as pre-teaching vocabulary?
As a sneaky pre-teaching, I would say.
And
it's more contextualized because it's based on the paragraph on top, right? So the words are there, so students kind of have to discover the meaning of the words on their own. So it's not really pre-teaching, because in pre-teaching you would just tell the meaning, right? Very explicitly. So this word means this word means that. Let's read the text. Yeah. But I think it's very well scaffolded. Students will feel prepared to read the text, and then you activate schemata through a vocabulary exercise. I think it's great. I love the design.
You know what this takes me to? Remember that, like, a few videos ago, I don't remember which one, we talked a little bit about atomistic and holistic. There's something we didn't say in that discussion, which was, and you just said that there's a lot of scaffolding, and every time you were looking at something that builds up such as pre-teaching vocabulary, that is per se more atomistic already. And I like that. And then when we move on into the reading, you see the choices of exercise. So this one would okay, working person. Okay, so they're going to do the type of task. They're not going to read the same part. So that's
it's a gap. It's information gap.
It's an information gap. There's actually a name for that type of reading, and I totally forgot it right now.
A jigsaw?
Thank you, man. Yes. And I like that. But when you see the choices of exercises, so it just feels more communicative, doesn't it? Than giving students like multiple choice exercises. I like that.
This is a brilliantly designed exercise. The questions in letter B, they can be asked and answered for both texts. This is amazing. Yes. What a well-designed exercise.
Well-designed exercise. I was just, going through the book, taking a look, and they're pretty much all the units. It's really well-designed material. I am really impressed. I have to say that.
Me too.
I do love this exercise too. So when we think of the reading cycle here, we had the gist, and then we have a detail reading, which is very well designed because if you're going to do that with different texts, and then C, which feels more communicative already, right? Use your answers in 3B to tell your partner. And then you also have a post reading, in which, remember, a post reading requires the student to say their opinion regarding that text. So,
all right, and from a materials writing perspective, a couple years ago, I wrote. I'm bound by an NDA, so I cannot say to whom, but I wrote a multi-level book, part of a multi-level book. It's not only mine, but they had to interact and communicate. Having different books and being at the same stage of the lesson. And this is, in reading classes, were always very difficult to design because we cannot have the same text because the student in level 2 has already read the text in level 1. But the text cannot be completely different because they have to work together. But in this way, the texts can be different. So you use the same questions for different texts, and then it could be different levels. It's not the case here, but text B could be of a higher level than text A, right? And students would still be able to interact. Well, very nice. And very I think nice. This scaffolds for the grammar session on number 4.
Okay, look at the verbs embodied in the sentence from the text which describes a single event in the past. Again, it's also forcing it's forcing the student to think, right? Wouldn't you agree? The student has to think, so it feels very inductive. Again,
and the focus is meaning and use here, right?
Absolutely. And then you have to work with the form, right? So when you think of MPF, Bruno, MPF for the teachers out there.
Yeah. Meaning, pronunciation, form. It's usually a way that according to CELTA, that language should be presented. So you present first the meaning, then the pronunciation of the word, and then the form, saying the more structural bits or spelling and plural forms and irregular forms and etc.
Yeah. So it is a very, this exercise pretty much focused on meaning, and if you will, appropriacy. Some people like to use MAPF anyway. But yeah, meaning and use. It's not going to tackle pronunciation. It's not going to tackle form. That's on you.
It comes in number 5. Yes.
But it does come down there. Yes. We are going to reach that point. So if you just follow the book, you will cover MAPF. All of them are there. So yes.
Yeah, and I get the feeling that the book is dealing with meaning here first, number 4.
Number
and then,
4.
There's letter B, learn and practice, go to the grammar bank. This is probably a focus on form, right? So maybe fill in the gaps, something like that. We don't have access to this, so
yes.
we cannot tell. But usually grammar banks, that's what they are, right?
So
those grammar exercises at the end of the book, right? So that's form here, and then pronunciation. Very well done. Again, very complete.
Very complete. Very complete. And also, if you look at everything is so well contextualized because of the text. So I think it really works well. And then if you look at the previous exercises that you had on top, how many lessons would you do with this, Bruno? Would you do it in one lesson? Would you select the exercises so that you would do maybe reading and then move on into grammar and have it in one lesson? Or would you prefer to have one reading lesson and a grammar lesson?
1 hour lessons, I think you can do vocabulary and reading together. If you have like 45-minute lessons, so maybe only vocabulary and then only reading. Vocabulary and reading. And then one lesson for the grammar and speaking. Yeah, so that you finish the lesson talking.
Well, to me, I think that really depends on how much time do you have. But if you're late, and if I had to choose what I'm not going to use, I would not do the pre-teaching vocabulary. I would go straight to the reading. I would just go with the lead-in and then move on into the reading, and then move on into grammar and practice and try to fill that in a 1 hour lesson, maybe 1 hour, 15-minute lesson, right? Well, I have to say, I love the book. I really love the book. And just so you know, this came out of one of the suggestions from our viewers, right? Yes. All right.
This is a live reaction. Not because we're irresponsible, but because we're authentic.
Yes. There you go. And yes, and if you do leave your comment down there, who knows, we might pick one of, we probably would, suggest one of the materials you like, and we might be talking about it here. And please let us know in the comments whether how did you feel about this book as well. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, it is the time, right? Leave us a comment, hit that like button, and follow us on Instagram as well if you will. Thank you.
And I'll see you next week. Bye-bye. See ya.
Bye-bye.